6 myths about self-harm and 6 facts about self-harm. We're going to talk about all of them today. Have you taken your antidepressants for the day? Hello there, hello. My name is Mbali Soge and I am a wellness and life strategy coach at Special Wellness Initiative. Yay! And today we are still continuing with all things related to self-harm because March is actually Self-Harm Awareness Month. So I just realized that it's been a few days since I put out a video, and we did say we're going to continue to speak about Self-Harm Awareness Month right until the end, right? So I found this a really good article that's going to help us break down the myths and the facts around self-harm. And this is by masiviwe.org.za, a movement for mental health. Oh, okay. That's the first time hearing about them, and I'm really excited. Actually, I'm going to do more research on them. I also don't know when this article was released, but the link will be in the description below. Okay. Myth: people self-harm to get attention. That's a very annoying myth. Fact: self-harm is a complex behavior. It is often in response to intense emotional pain or a mental health condition, such as depression. It's a lot more than just the simple people who self-harm are looking for attention. People who self-harm are not seeking attention. They often do it secretly to cope with their intense emotions. And I think something that's attention seeking, you should be like on the street trying to make sure everybody sees what you're doing, what you're going through, and whatever. And for the most part, self-harm, we know it to be something done in secret. So it should not be put together with attention seeking, in my opinion. Next myth: people who self-harm are suicidal. Self-harm is a suicide attempt. I do believe that before doing more research on self-harm alone, my understanding was self-harm means an attempt to unalive, and then if you survived that, then that was just the self-harm part, and then that's it. So for me it was okay, deal with unaliving attempts without realizing self-harm can be a completely separate situation. Fact: many people who self-harm are not necessarily thinking about or wanting to die by suicide. While self-harm can be a risk factor, this doesn't mean a person who self-harms will engage in suicidal behavior. Now we know. Myth: only teenage girls self-harm. Where did that come from? Who? How? Fact: people of different ages, genders, racial groups, and cultural backgrounds engage in self-harm behaviors. It's not only an issue that impacts teenage girls. Okay, I don't know where that even came from, but anything that's related to mental health, I know a lot of people are just trying to figure out, like, is it mostly this? Is it mostly adults or kids or black people or white people or teenagers, or like we're just trying to figure out, is it, but this thing doesn't care. Ooh, it doesn't care. Myth: self-harm is a sign of weakness or lack of willpower. I don't know if there are people that actually say that out loud, but I would believe that if you are thinking of self-harming, you might be saying stuff like that to yourself. That's rough to say. Self-harm, this is a fact. Self-harm is a sign that someone is experiencing intense emotional pain. Judging someone for this only adds to their high levels of pain. I think that's people who self-harm are mentally ill. That's a myth. A fact is self-harm behavior is a symptom of certain mental health issues. Symptom. It's not like a whole diagnosis. However, not everyone who self-harms has a mental health condition. I just learned something new. Okay, well, that's the point of these videos, right? We're learning. We're not judging. Myth: self-harm isn't a big deal, and the person will stop self-harming if you just ignore it. I think we all know, like, ignoring, sweep it under the carpet, like, that's always a bad idea. A fact is, self-harm is a very serious issue, and to recover, the person needs help and not to be isolated. People need support to learn how to manage and cope with their emotional pain. And learning how to do that might be really difficult if you're doing it on your own. So, having a good support system will help you with managing and coping with your emotional pain. Oh, well, that's it. That's it for this one. Tell me what you're thinking, what you could have learned versus, what you thought any of these were. Make sense? Doesn't make sense? Okay, yeah, just drop it in the comments, please, and thank you. And lastly, I do want to remind you that Special Wellness Initiative is still doing navigation and support sessions. So I will leave the link to that in the description. Book yourself a session and 3 check-ins. And yeah, you know what? You are not alone. I'll see you in the next one.